Sorry, I missed some of the conversation that was going on in the chat, so let me just skim through. Personally, I find it interesting to have the first playthrough be a fluid experience, loose goals, mostly seeing where it goes. Yeah, I think I talked about how I have difficulty with that. That sort of like... It's hard for me to engage with the game narratively without caring about the outcome in a way that is a little bit incompatible with that sort of like, let's explore what the narrative space looks like. I just noticed from Qbert, this, does the rate of getting fatigue go up the longer you're out? So the longer you're out, the lower your chances of encounters going well. It's another sign that the game wants the player to make focused decisions. So I see, in terms of focused decisions, we're talking about don't do this loop. Have a destination and head straight for your destination. That makes sense. I feel like right now it's hard for me to do too much of that because I guess I have a short-term and a long-term destination, right? My long-term destination is Old Moray, but I can't just go there because I'm not equipped. I don't have the experience to do it. So right now I'm trying to build that experience, and I'm trying to sort of like figure out what is a route that I can use that is going to give me that experience. And I don't really see one. I don't really know what my route is. And so I'm also given this narrative tidbit, which frankly, I'm interested in the narrative tidbits, right? Like I want to chase down those leads. I think that maybe the point, Qbert, that you're making is that they are distractions and that they are invitations to engage with the narrative in the sort of the less focused or strategic way, and because I am getting frustrated because I'm allowing myself to get distracted by those things when in fact I am not I'm not getting enjoyment out of following them up, which maybe that's true. That's sort of like an interesting thing to think about. How long does it take me to get to Anka? It's short on the train, so I could go to Anka. I'm not in a great position to do things there. I could go to Aldhurst. Aldhurst isn't useful to me because there's no green or purple, and that's what I'm trying to build. I could go to Clifton and try to pick up some green, and then go to Pachenko and try to get some green, and then maybe go down to Hara or come back up to the Desert Oasis. Maybe I'll go to Clifton and then Desert Oasis and then down to Pachenko. Let's do that. Let's do some variant of that. Okay, and Nadine is here, but Nadine does not want to talk to me, so... Alexis motions gleefully for you to join them, their expression one of triumph. You're not sure what's behind it all, but something tells you you're about to find out. Closer, come closer, don't leave this opportunity on the table. Nuts? Old news. No, I sell crickets. Well, I will tell you, Alexis, nobody bought the nuts the last time I had nuts, so... Oh, shoot. I wasn't paying attention. That was just... Okay. I mean, I didn't have a good card to play. That was just a particularly bad one. If you thought roasted nuts were good, well, we all made that mistake. We've grown. We've all become wiser. Nothing on this planet compares to the salty, crunchy, delicious taste of roasted crickets. Try one. Try two. Okay. This is actually not a terrible play. Let's do that. Okay. I'm just trying to cycle through my cards, kinda. Legs stuck in your teeth? Yes, that's normal. Oh man, Alexis, I wish I could. I think we're done. I think we're done. I'm gonna see what this card does. That. I'm not sure what that card does. Walk on. Continue your life, unaware of the salty splendor you've abandoned. Take some nuts with you. Yes. Okay, so I do get some nuts. All I care about is having 3 items, which is probably not enough for me to care about. I probably need more. Thought of the cricket's little black eyeballs popping between your teeth makes you shudder. This needs a content warning, I think. You'll stick to nuts for your protein fix for the foreseeable future. Thank you very much. Let's see. This is a bad card for me to take. Because I have nothing to... It's a link, and I have nothing to lead into. This is also not a great card. So I guess I'm taking this card. I've been getting a lot of use out of the accommodates. I kind of wish that I hadn't lost that one accommodate. And I hate to lose a blue, but I think I'm doing this. I think my problem, part of my problem is that I thought my first move was to trade out greens for blues. And it turns out there's like nobody who speaks, well, that's not true. There's some people who speak orange-blue. Like this area is orange-blue. But it's a very small area, and it's not that useful to me. Alright, let's go to Pachinko. Festival of Colors doesn't start until day 12. We're going to go up to the Desert Oasis. That's what we're going to do. Wait, did I talk to everybody that I could? That seemed like there weren't... If this game is about personal progress, do characters you speak to change over time? I think they do in some ways. Like, there are, I think, plot arcs. Like, the game outlined, you've got these 2 brothers in 2 neighboring towns who are fighting with one another. And they're not communicating, and they have sort of like, you know, some kind of old disagreement that they're working their way through, or not working their way through. And part of what you can do as a traveling merchant is help them communicate and bring them closer together, or fail to do that, in which case they will grow further apart, presumably. And so I think those characters have arcs based on those plots. I think there are probably characters who have arcs based on sort of like how much you get to know them and talk about your mom with them, right? Or that kind of thing. Nadine clearly has an arc of, is she going to get to grow to trust you more? And yeah. You come across a roadhouse packed with travelers while the storm darkens, pull off the road and wait it out. Sure. Each traveler attempts to outdo the last with increasingly fantastical tales. You share one of Mom's about the time she befriended a sandwich from the long expanse. Choose a card to gain Elaborate. It will overwrite the existing effects. So that's Elaborate. These cards having Elaborate has worked pretty well for me. I guess it's going to be this one, because this... I'm going to lose this card before long. Yeah, I think it's that. Desert Oasis. Okay, I have my dog again. You rest for a moment in the shade beside the oasis waters, a relief after days crossing the harsh desert. Not for long, though, as the sounds and smells of the market entice you to the press, into the press of travelers who wander the aisles. So here's a green-purple. There's a purple-green. There's no reason for me not to do this first, right? I think that will destroy some of my fatigue. Thunder leaps from the cab of your truck straight into the shallows of the oasis. Oh. What happens if I play fatigue? I've got 3 blacks to work with, so... Yeah, that's okay. He takes it. Arf, arf. You take off your boots and join in playing in the shallow water until you're both exhausted. Spending time with Thunder makes you feel less fatigued. Yeah, I lost my fatigue. Great. Love it. Let's talk to Theo. Fruitful prospects. A stall outside the resort displays long baskets of colored dried fruit, tiny identification signs poking up from piles of prunes, apricots, and bananas. It seems unattended until a loose pile of clothes and hair opens its eyes. That's a good description. I like that. Theo, you are starting off with a double green, huh? You remind me of my grandson, Aerat, who I'm guessing is a character I could meet but haven't met. He's also young and, well, I guess youth is all you have in common. What'll it be today? Dates? Mangoes? Very nice pineapple in stock. Very dry, very sweet. Well, I have this double green I guess I'll play. And I have a purple green. That isn't actually great. But... Hold on. If I do a purple green here, and then I play this blue elaborate, that'll destroy the accord, but it'll end with a green blue. I believe that's right. So let's do that. Oh, but it goes all the way back. Okay. Fuck. Purple green, huh? Well, I'm not going to play this because that could be useful later. I could play this. I could play this. Let's do that. Come on, I'm trying to tell you something deep here. Purple, purple. Great, that's what I wanted. Purple, purple. Yeah, we can just keep going with this. And hopefully some of these cards are purples. We'll see. Just what you need to keep up your energy on the road. You look like you've been on the road for a while. Do you ever stop to wonder about all the things that could have been? No, of course you don't. You're still too young to have any regrets. Listen, I regret everything about my last caravan trip, let me tell you. Okay, so same thing. I can play this purple. Oh no. So I'm better off actually playing this. Accommodate, and that becomes a blue purple. Ooh, but all of his cards are green. This is really screwing with me. Or I could play this. Maybe I'll do that. Great. That's what I was hoping for. Perhaps someday when you're older, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's not far to Longgate, though the road is rarely traveled. Do I get the road? Okay, great. I know you don't owe me any favors, but would you consider doing me a kindness? I wrote this letter that could use some delivering. It's for an old friend. I mean, this is my only play, right? Slow it down there, Pard. Okay. Great. We did it. We did it. Chatter doesn't seem as good in a deck as diverse as ours. Yeah, I think that's right. I think it's causing me more trouble than it's worth. Her name's Mimi. She's living up in Longgate now. Well, last I heard, anyway. Theo asked you to deliver a message to Longgate. Okay. A green to purple. Or a purple. Let's see, a green to purple. Then that helps me with this stuff that I have. And I can replace... I could replace this one. I could replace this with a purple. I don't think I want to. I'm going to take this and I'm going to replace... I'm just getting rid of the oranges, I think. This one's okay because it's got that elaborate on it. This one I'm going to get rid of. And let's talk to Diva. Diamond in the desert. Out here, life stands still as the sun as still as the sun in the midday sky. Nothing seems more natural than kicking up one's feet, and the few folks around seem to agree. That is, except for a distinguished-looking woman who rushes over to shake your hand enthusiastically. Howdy, stranger. What brings you around these parts? Sorry, that opening bit's still something of a work in progress. Okay, I like Diva. I don't get to practice it much this far from the beaten path. That's just one of many reasons why it's so exciting to see a fresh face. Let's see if my greens are doing anything for me. Well, yeah, something, I guess. Green or purple. Okay, we're getting along. Anyway, welcome to the Desert Oasis. I'm Diva, at your service. So I couldn't help but notice the truck. You wouldn't happen to be a caravaneer, would you? Ooh, that makes this even better. Does it? I've been waiting for the caravan to notice us for a while now. That is why you're here, right? Well, maybe. I'm not very good at greens. I'm not very good at greens. What's this? What are you doing? Oh boy. Okay, so remove all cards back to the last valid match. I still don't understand this card. I should get rid of it at some point. Let's play this, I guess. I did find the dog. Dog is excellent. Love the dog. Yes, thank you. That was perfect. Good job. Ah, I see. So you're not here on caravan business. That's too bad. Once this place used to hustle and bustle. Okay, but you're leaving me with a double green. I'll be the first to admit, between the sandstorms and the bandits, it's not the easiest place to get to. On the other hand, where else are you going to get cool, clear water around here? The oasis could be huge for the region if we had a way to get goods on the regular. Okay, so I can play and accommodate. Yeah, that's really the only play that I've got. Oh, thank God. Sweet. I love it. That was just barely good enough. I take it you're not the caravan head, but if you'd put in a good word for us, I'd be so grateful. Well, maybe I have enough greens that I could do that. Here's a little something for the road. Come visit anytime. Did I get another item? Hell yes! Dried fruit. Thanking Diva for the gift, you take your leave, knowing Nadine, a difficult-to-reach location like Desert Oasis probably isn't high on her list of potential pit stops. Let's see. This is a good card for me to trade for this one, maybe? Or... This one's not bad because of that elaborate. I'm gonna get rid of this. I don't want to lose my blues, because eventually I want to be on blue-purple. This is a very cool game. Let me, like, I don't want to lose that. I still think this is a very cool game. Okay, so here's where I'm going to get frustrated by the interface again. Because I want to know... Can I go to Longgate and then go to Pachenko and make it for the festival? So this is 2 stops, and it's a green-purple, which is probably good for me, and I deliver that message. And then, so that's 1, 2, is that 3 days? Or just 2 days? Let's say 1, 2, and then 3 days there, 3, 4, 5, and then 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. There's no way that I would make it. That would... if I go straight to Pachenko, then I can get to the Festival of Colors. And Mom's oldest friend, Isabella, lives here, and I can show her the locket. That's right. That's what this was all about. Let's see, I'm thinking the double blues are going to be useful when I get to Old Marais. But maybe that's too far away. Okay. This is a clear choice, right? Like, do I want to go to the... And this is well designed. Well, I don't know. Like, I mean, yes, it is well designed. I guess it wasn't obvious that I would take the route that I took, necessarily. Although it's not like there's a lot of different combinations. Anyway, I can either go to the festival, at which point I will probably be too tired to do anything else. I'm going to go back to Bartow. Or I could go to Longgate, deliver this mail, do a little bit more of my green purple trading. How many things do I have? I have 3. Alright, well, this is going to help me in my strategy, I think, so we're going to go here. Past the desert oasis, past the caravan routes and the desert encampments, the long gate marks the edge of the world. Beyond lies the long expanse, places that were only vague legends even for Mom. I can't talk to that person? Okay, well... A prickly recipient. You find Mimi on the succulent garden, pruning prickly cacti with her leathery, sun-baked hands. You offer her the letter from Theo, which she stares at curiously. A letter? Why, I haven't received one of these in... Well, to be perfectly honest, I can't even remember how long it's been. Are you sure it's for me? Who could it possibly be from? And, of course, this is my draw. Good lord. Well... Their cards are all green-purple. Yikes. Yikes. Sorry, it's just... I don't get a lot of visitors around here. You know nothing about me, and maybe that's the way we should keep it. This envelope says it's from the desert oasis. I don't think I know anyone from there, except, yes, of course, my old friend Theo. Had one of the best vacations of my life with that man. It was many moons ago, back in the days when traveling from town to town was less of a challenge. We were so young back then. Did Theo happen to tell you about it? Not really, no. Okay, hell yeah. I mean, I'm pretty out of luck now. Even back then, the eastern towns were better off than the western ones. Temperate climes, water nearby, no precious metals for the Rilkers to plunder. It doesn't much get more carefree. We took a trip down to Ramina and stayed at that vineyard. You know, the one that's run by that family with those inseparable little twins? See, they used to be inseparable little twins that lived on the vineyard, and now they're fighting. They're old men fighting in different towns. We picked ruby grapes right off the vine and fed them to each other as the sun went down. Never in my life have I tasted anything sweeter. I do love that sort of like hinting at the narratives that are happening, that are localized in other parts of the world. I think that's very deftly done. Give me something, give me something, give me something. After Anka, that trip felt like the golden days, and I must say, that man has a lot of nerve keeping me waiting all this time without so much as a peep. Knowing Theo and the pace at which he goes through life, I can't say I'm totally surprised, though. Yeah. Fuck. Okay. I mean, this doesn't help me much, because I just don't have the cards to play. So I might as well play this. I have no play, right? I have nothing that I can do that's useful. The only thing that I don't know what this card does. I think that it's going to cause me to lose, but all of my cards would cause me to lose. So I'm going to play it. Okay, it didn't. So that's good to know. So that card actually doesn't need to match. But then I didn't have anything that I could match with, so I delivered Theo's message, but I didn't have a productive conversation with Mimi. I think I'd rather have this. Yeah, Kyla, the reason that I kept these is because the elaborate is really useful. The backtrack is less useful. I mean, elaborate is only so useful. And if I do this, so am I? Well, I'm getting rid of. Hold on. If I'm getting rid of a blue for a purple, where am I? Do I have enough purple? Like, should I do this? Or should I do this? Because do I have enough purple now that I can be going purple and blue? And I don't need greens to get the greens. I just needed to farm purples. I think I'm gonna do this, and I'm done with the oasis. I'm done with the desert. We're here. I don't need to be back for anything in particular, I guess. I just have 50 days or whatever. I'm probably going to miss the Festival of Colors through day 20. It would be 24, right, before I get there. So I think that's no good. So I'm going to go for Old Moray. That's going to take me to day 36, and let's see how it goes. The blues are killing... Yes, the blues are killing us because we're in a region where there's no blue, right? But I want to go to a region where there is blue, so I don't want to get rid of the blues. Resting on the roof of your truck one evening, thunder cuddles up beside you. Let's snuggle. Aw, remove a fatigue card. I love it. Remove... Oh, no, those are just my cards. That's the cards that I have. Okay. 2, 3, 4. I mean, that's a lot of fatigue. Old Moray. Ooh, okay. So, again, like, I'm a little frustrated by this. It's not just that there's lots of possible paths that I could take and lots of different narratives that I could see and lots of different endings that I could get to. It's the taking notes. It's now I feel like I should be writing down on trip 2, Gull is guarding Old Moray. On trip 3, she's not. So, like, that makes a huge difference in, like, what is really available to me on different days. I 100% thought that I was going to get stopped by Gull. I thought Gull was going to be there every time, or at least until I, like, talked to her or something, if I got past her. So, again, that's not bad design. That's just not for me. That's not the kind of game that I like to play. And so, on some level, I'm playing this game, right? I'm like... I'm going to approach it the way that I approach it as a player, and I'm going to get out of it something as a player, and recognize that those are design choices that appeal less to me than they might to other people. Gull maybe guards whenever you arrive the first time. That could also be possible. My point is that it's so unclear, right? Like, there's nothing in the game, in the interface, in the narrative, that like indicates to me the kind of thing that I'm going to find when I go out somewhere. Which again, like, that is fitting for the narrative. It's a narrative that is about exploration. It's a narrative about like going out into this big scary world where you're not sure what you're going to find, and sometimes it's dangerous, and sometimes it's unexpectedly useful. But it feels at odds with some of the more strategic, and maybe not even at odds. Like, it requires me to develop an understanding of the systems in the game world that spans multiple playthroughs. And I think about this in comparison. We should talk about this more maybe after I finish. But it makes me think about like Elsinore. Elsinore is a great example of a game where, very like this, there's lots of different paths that you can go on. There's lots of different narratives that you can explore. They are largely exclusive of one another. So you do one thing and it prevents other things from happening. But that game is framed in a way that gives me two things. It gives me sort of a narrative reasoning for playing through it multiple times and trying different stuff. And it gives me a fixed endpoint. And for me, as a player, both of those, I think, are tremendously valuable. This game, as a, like, you can play this as many times as you want to find as many endings as you want, because there's a whole lot of them. I slide right off of that. Like, I get it, I'm just not into it. And so and it's not even that I wouldn't play a game more than once, but I really want the first time that I play it to be satisfying, not just intriguing. Whereas Elsinore can get away with, like, the first time that you play through it, it is not satisfying. There's no resolution. It is intriguing, but then the game sort of gives you a framework for thinking about going back and playing it again. And in fact, because of that, because of the way that it works, the first time that you play through the whole game is essentially a tutorial, right? Your first run of Elsinore is pretty handheld. There's like some choices that you can make, but a lot of stuff, like, it doesn't really introduce a lot of the interesting branching multiple reality stuff that's going on that you can do until the second loop. And this game doesn't do that. Instead, this game has sort of like an on-ramp for tutorializing what the world is, how the mechanics work, what it is that you're going to be seeing at the beginning of the game. And frankly, part of why I sort of dread the idea of playing it a second time is I would have to go back and play through that part of the game, which is, now that I understand how the world works and how the card game works, much less interesting to me. And at the same time, I think it's not expansive enough to tell me the first time that I play everything that I want it to tell me, to sort of give me the kind of perspective on the whole world that I really want as a player. And it isn't expansive enough because it knows that you're going to have to play through it every time you restart the game. So I feel like there's really a catch-22 there that makes it difficult to design games that are based around branching narratives of the sort that you expect to play it a bunch of different times and just explore the narrative space. Okay, let's talk to Tariq. I think that I am prepared to have a purple-blue conversation. A troubling discovery. Tariq is washing down his diving gear and chucking it violently back in the dumpster diver, his little salvaging skiff. What do you want? Shouldn't you be at the market docks with the other tourists? It's been a bad day, alright? I don't care how much fresh fish they're hauling up over there. I mean, yeah, we got lots of options right now. I'm excited about all these blues that I've got. I unfortunately do not have a single purple start. If I play this card, I think it's indicating to me that it's going to erase that card that's highlighted purple. Because if I do this, it doesn't do that. So let's play this card, because that's not going to create... Okay. Love it. That's great. And now I'm at a... Now I can do... Let's do this. I thought we were going to net ourselves a legend, be the talk of the community cast-off for years to come. Turns out, it's just a big lie. Yeah, I dove down by the tower base. The Rilkers keep folks away. Security, they say. Legend has it the Creeping King hoards treasures in the deeps. Dion said it stays down by the tower base to avoid people, so that's where we went. You think he knew all along? Something go wrong? Was it a disaster? I'm gonna play this card when I've got it. That's fine. That's... Yeah, I'm gonna play this. I just need one more, Tariq. Work with me. You want to know what I found down there? The tower foundations, looking like they were built yesterday. Rilkers must be reinforcing them constantly, pouring who knows how much money into it. Meanwhile, out here, every time a storm comes through, at least one person loses their home. Woo. I mean, the Rilkers don't seem like good people. They control what comes out, what comes in and out, and we're stuck hoping the ground doesn't sink from under us. Creeping King, alright. That's all that's creeping down there is the waste from all that construction. Never seen it as bad, not even after the rain drains out all the sewage. Oh no, oh no, why did that go so badly? I'm sort of in the middle of something here. Oh no, okay, well, let's go to purple then. Okay. Purples, huh? Purples. Let's do this. And we're good. And we're good. Why'd Dion have to take me there? I've got no appetite for the festival now. Tariq turns back to taking out his anger on the dark sludge that coats his gear. I attended the Old Murray fishing competition. Did I? I mean, I guess that's good. Okay, so now I'm transitioning into a blue-purple deck. So I'm going to take a blue-purple card, and I'm going to replace... what? I'm going to replace this purple-orange. I'm going to replace this green-purple. I might replace this green-purple. I've got I've only got 2 cards that start with purple, so maybe I actually want this. And then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that start with blue. So let's switch out this green-purple for a purple-blue. Yeah, let's do it. Dion! Now I can talk to Dion. Which I'm also going to do. Big catch. Dion sits on an overturned bucket, washing down diving gear with Tariq. He doesn't pay you any mind at first until your locket catches his eye. Interesting. Dion. Wasn't expecting anyone here away from the festivities. You come looking for old Dion and the freshest lamprey in the city. Well, you found me. Ain't any lamprey today, though. So, these are easier conversations, because they're short. But I have a feeling he's going to be heavy on these blues, and fuck, look at my draw. That's not great. Oh no, he's got a mix, it seems like. I don't know if he has doubles. Me and Tariq here, we had our own adventure, you could say. Diving for the Creeping King. Well, he did most of the diving. Of course, I knew that's not but a tale, not like the Squall Walkers. Those I seen myself back in the day on the Wave Dancer. Okay, you're throwing a lot of capitalized words at me. Dion mentioned a place from Mom Story's Wave Dancer. Okay, that actually helps contextualize this, that Wave Dancer maybe is a ship or an island, but just the sentence fragment on the Wave Dancer meant very little to me. Understanding that it's a place and it's going to appear on my map actually helps a lot. So now that's one of these capitalized words that I don't have to worry about so much. Still, thought Tariq ought to see for himself. You do have doubles, so you got a whole mix. That's fine. Of course, I have just such a lousy draw. All right. Alright, I'm gonna go... I should have done the other one. My ear's having trouble placing your origin. What port did you be hailing from exactly? Purple. Thank God. Thank God. Yes, very good. And then, are you gonna take the next turn? I hope. It doesn't matter. He deserved to know he's a good kid, head in the right place. Ain't gonna tell you more than he did. Story for a story, I couldn't help but notice that locket. How'd you come by it? You play and you break your own damn thing, huh? Fuck. I only really have... Oh no, I could play this. I could play this and that turns purple. I think that's my best play. I wish I didn't have all of that damn fatigue. You didn't happen to catch Algaean fever when you were a hatchling, did you? I sure hope not. Okay. I have a blue. Yes. It is kind of amazing. So, God, there's a lot to talk about this game. Let me mention this because it's on my mind. There's an AI, obviously. You're playing this game with an AI partner. I don't know how good the AI is. I suspect it's not very good because it doesn't have to be. I am playing against I'm playing against this sort of nebulous uncertainty. The only thing that the AI, I think, really needs to do, and of course I could be totally wrong about this, like through playtesting you could discover that the AI, it's important for the AI to be smart, or that it has a huge effect on the difficulty of the game or whatever. But I think all the AI needs to do is, if it has a card that it can play without sort of like causing a mismatch, then it'll play that card. And if it has more than one, can randomly choose between them. All it needs to do is prioritize a card that is a valid play over a card that's a mismatch. And if it doesn't have a valid play, then it plays a mismatch. And that's it. That could be the whole AI. And that would work for me playing against it, because that puts me in the position of trying my best, as best I can, to both play cards that are valid, that are good matches on my play, and also leave open a match that my opponent can play into. I am going to sort of develop a lot of strategy around, I have 3 valid matches, but I'm going to pick this one because this is the best one for this situation. The opponent doesn't really need to reflect that same strategy. Picking random cards, I think, actually plays into me having that strategy. So that's really cool. It's really smart to develop a game where you have an AI interaction, where the AI doesn't need to be like super smart, because programming a very smart AI, an AI that feels smart to players, is a huge challenge. A lot of the time, games don't do it. Games find ways to use dumb AIs that are dumb in sort of the particular way that makes the game work really well. There's a talk at GDC several years ago that I reference sometimes about a game called Rockets, 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 which is a cool sort of like a racing shooter sort of a thing, top-down shooter / racing game where you're a rocket and you're being attacked by rockets. They talk about how their first stab at the AI for the rockets that are following you, that are trying to destroy you, was really sophisticated. And in the end, it ended up being more sophisticated than the most naive version of point towards where the player is and go that direction, but only a little bit. It was substantially less sophisticated than they initially thought it was going to have to be. And the point of the talk, or a point of the talk, was don't overdo it on your AI. Actually, the player will do a lot to add depth to an artificial intelligence if you make it vague enough that there are things for the player to fill in. And if you try to make it too sophisticated, if you try to make it recognizably sophisticated, almost always it will fail at that, and players will recognize it for being too artificial. Okay. I'm gonna finish this, and then her kid. She never told me about her time here. Oh, she never told you about her time here, did she? No, not really. Best pay a visit to the Wave Dancer and hear that tale straight from the source. What weird stuff am I gonna hear about my mom? Let's see. I got a purple link. Purple chatter. Which is maybe good. I think I'm better off doing this. Oh, no, wait. No, wait. No, I take it back. What do I want? Hold on. So, purple chatter. Maybe this is good, because it's a purple, and I have these accommodate cards, and I also am starting to build a bunch of purple cards. So if I replace actually one of my blues, and the problem with this card is it's an accommodate, which means this will end up either being a blue or an orange. So this is essentially a blue card. I am going to replace this card because I still frankly don't 100%, I don't grok this. I think I do know what it does, but I don't understand strategically how to use it. And so rather than try to learn that, I'm just going to get rid of it. I could also get rid of one of these blue elaborates, because as Kate Steiger said, the elaborate isn't as good on a double blue as it is on, for example, a blue orange, but it's still somewhat useful. I have actually used it quite a lot. Maybe just because that's what I have, but I've used it more than this, so I'm going to get rid of this. Okay, let's move on. Let's go back to the map. Oh, you know what? I don't have a scene of my face real big. That's fine. There's one more thing that I want to say before I stop for today, and just because it's sort of in the moment, talking about Elsinore, I'm sure that we will talk more about this game and Elsinore later on at the end of it, but in the chat, Kyla and I think Qbert and some other people were talking about how, yes, Elsinore accommodates a sort of a different style of play or a different approach to the narrative because it is encapsulated in a time loop. And that time loop sort of inherently means that your decisions don't matter, right? Like that the consequences of the stuff that you do is going to be erased when the game loops. And the point that I would make is that is actually not structurally different from this game. That's structurally exactly the same as this game. It's just that the framework for the loop is not built narratively into this game. This game exists in a structure where I as a player am providing the loop. I'm going to play this game for 4 hours or whatever it is. If I wasn't talking so much, it would maybe be 4 hours. I'm going to play this game for 4 hours, and then I'm going to go back and I'm going to start it over. And that is the loop. And the things that I do the first time don't have any consequences because I'm going to loop it. The difference between them is that the loop in Elsinore is, 40 minutes, maybe? It was longer than I sort of thought it was going to be. I maybe imagined it was going to be 20 to 30 minutes, and it was probably closer to 40 minutes or an hour. Or maybe even more. Maybe it was even 90 minutes. But there's a big difference between 90 minutes and 4 hours, right? Which, frankly, I think that's the longest that Elsinore probably was, and the shortest that this game would be. And then the fact that there is a narrative and formal structure that supports the looping in Elsinore. But if our premise is this game expects you to play it multiple times, then that's a loop. That's a time loop game. It's just a time loop that doesn't build a narrative to support the time loop. It's a game that expects you as a player to bring in your external framework for understanding that games get replayed in order to afford that time loopiness. And I wouldn't say that that's lazy or wrong. I would not go that far, but as a player, I appreciate what Elsinore does in both creating the framework for me to think about playing through the loop of the game multiple times, right? And not asking me as a player to provide that for myself, because that is not a mode in which I do play games a lot. I mean, that's not true. Of course I replay games. I shouldn't even say of course, because I know there are people who don't, who rarely replay games. I replay games more than that. But I'm not used to sort of replaying games a lot in order to sort of discover new stuff about them. So this game sort of requires me to have that mode of approach that I might not. And then also this game is 4 hours long. And in the same way that I think there are like fundamentals around like the length of reels in film, right? Like a reel is about 15 to 20 minutes, and a movie is made up of multiple reels. And today, that doesn't matter at all, because movies aren't produced on film anymore. They're produced digitally, and the sort of concept of a reel like doesn't actually exist as part of that production process. But it still is useful, and it's used in actually the production, the writing and directing and editing of a movie, because that 15 to 20 minutes is like a significant amount of time when it comes to viewer attention and viewer sort of like engagement and mood, and thinking about things in terms of reels, and planning them and sort of pacing them in terms of reels, is useful, even though that technology is no longer part of the process. It's still useful because that amount of time, there's something fundamental about that amount of time and the pacing of a movie. In the same way that I think, like, for me, the prospect of playing a 4-hour game and getting to the end of it and saying, okay, well, now I know enough to play it again, that's incredibly daunting. In a way that playing a 40-minute game, at the end of which I'm left with no satisfying resolution, but an idea of how to play it better the second time, that's much more palatable to me, and I'm much more eager to engage with that. So, I think a lot of this, like I said, a lot of this is very subjective, is very sort of personal preference. And I'm sure that there is an audience for whom this is the optimal pace, like a 4-hour or 6-hour game that you could play multiple times and discover new stories every time you play it. That's exactly what they're looking for. That's great. This game is executing fantastically on that premise. As a player, I wish that premise appealed to me more than it does. But it also, I can appreciate sort of the execution of it, and I am still enjoying, if not everything about this game, substantial portions of this game, and it inspires, I think, a lot of like, how could you use some of the mechanics and mechanisms that are present in this game that are doing interesting things, that have either satisfying loops or suggest satisfying loops. What could I, as a designer, what could other people as designers do to take those pieces of design, those elements of design, and put them in a form or a framework that, as a player, I might find personally more satisfying. I think this game is breaking a lot of really interesting ground in what is possible and how to think about, for example, conversation or even narrative in a game like this. So, very much enjoying it. Very much enjoying it. Having a good time. Excited to keep playing. I am giving a guest lecture tomorrow in a colleague's class, so I will not be able to do a stream tomorrow afternoon. So I'll be back next week. I have to look at my schedule. I think that I will be doing a stream on Wednesday, and then I think I will be doing a stream on Thursday. Thursday morning, I am getting my second shot of the vaccine, and I have heard varied reports about how much of a kick that can have and how quickly it can come on. But I expect that on Thursday afternoon, I will be I will be up to playing a couple of hours of video games. So I think that I'll be playing, continuing this next week. And we'll play through, at least one cycle of 5 journeys, and then we can talk about that. And then I think it's likely that I will move on to another game after that, but eager to keep talking about this. Thanks, everybody. This was a lot of fun. Love getting to engage with the chat a little bit and talk about some of the game design ideas that this game and other games are presenting. I will see folks on Monday for Mostly Walking. No idea what we're going to play, but it should be fun. And I'll see you next week for more of Science of the Sojourner. Everybody have a good rest of your week, a good weekend. Stay safe, be well, and I'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye.